The most emotional part of President Moon Jae-in's recent trip to Washington was his visit to the National Museum of the U.S. Marine Corps. He expressed gratitude to numerous Korean War veterans and their families. One of them, Admiral Robert Lunney. Moon Connyoung got to sit down with the only surviving veteran from the evacuation operation that saved thousands of Koreans, including the parents of President Moon.
He said, "I see thousands of refugees on the beach," and he said, "I can take my ship in and save as many as possible."
67 years is a lifetime ago for most of us, but not for Korean War veteran J. Robert Lunney, who spent every day of those nearly 7 decades thinking about Christmas 1950. Robert Lunney had just turned 23 in December that year, an enlisted Navy man who found himself aboard the SS Meredith Victory, ship employed to carry supplies for U.S. servicemen during the initial months of the Korean War. Now 90 years old, Lunney remembers that day as if it's yesterday.
They were streaming by the thousands into the port of Hungnam, because at that time the Chinese had cut off all of the land routes south. We were totally encircled by the Chinese, and we were the last ship, and they drove by the thousands to the shore, to the beachhead at Hungnam, waiting to be saved.
On the afternoon of December 22nd, in gale force winds and swirling snow, Admiral Lunney and his crew began to load tens of thousands of refugees from Hungnam, North Korea, into their cargo holds.
And we had to weather the cold winter and the trip south through the minefields out of Hungnam. Fortunately, we had the 7th Fleet firing into the Chinese positions. We were able to accomplish the loading of 14,000 people from December 22nd till December 23rd. It took us about 13 hours to load these people. We also learned how to say Bali Bali, and that was to bring on the refugees faster, keep them moving.
And on Christmas Day 1950, the U.S. merchant ship SS Meredith Victory arrived at a port on the South Korean island of Koje, carrying over 14,000 refugees, men, women, and children. Among them were the parents and sister of Moon Jae-in, who was born in Koje 2 years later in January 1953. He is now the President of the Republic of Korea, and the very first stop on his inaugural visit to the U.S. was at a memorial dedicated to the fallen U.S. soldiers and Marines who sacrificed their lives defending their closest ally, South Korea.
There was more dialogue from the President to myself. I was the only one present yesterday at his talk at Quantico, at the Chengjin Memorial in the Marine Corps Museum. He emphasized how important it was that his mother and father were rescued by us. Indeed, said that except for our rescue of his mother and father and his older sister as well, that he would not be here today. He admitted how emotional he was over that thought and how appreciative he was of our captain and our ship in the rescue of these people.
What left the biggest impression on you about your meeting with President Moon Jae-in yesterday?
The greatest impression I had of a man of his stature was how personable he was, how easy it was to relate to him. He had a quick smile. He spent as much time with each of us that served in Korea and listened to expressions of our gratitude in meeting him.
For Lunney, the meeting with President Moon helped close some old wounds we can't see. But the 90-year-old veteran still remembers the war that never truly ended, a divided nation still in conflict today.
I have always hoped in my lifetime and expressed that even when I was in Korea, to see the unification of the Korean people. The people in the north and the people in the south are Korean people. When I looked out at them, I did not see a communist or an anti-communist or a North Korean or a South Korean or friend or foe. I said, all I see is Korean people.
Moon Connyoung, Arirang News, Washington.